Thank you very much, Philip, for that very, very insightful presentation. I would like to take any questions regarding that presentation. Do we have any questions at this moment that we can help to give answers to? Any questions? There's a question at the back there, so can we have a microphone, okay, for the gentleman there? Any other question? Okay, so let's hear that question.
Thank you very much. My name is Kimathi Kamenchu. I happen to be an advocate. I work with the firm of Musimi and Company. I'm here more as somebody who is interested in business and particularly the SME sector within this country. Firstly, to appreciate the presentation that Mr. Philip Mwema, tax partner at KPMG, has made. It's been very eye-opening in the issues that have been covered in terms of understanding what were the benchmarks and the criteria in determining who will be in the top 100 for this year. I have two questions specifically with regard to the criteria. Firstly, I'm curious to know, given that the process is self-nominating, as Philip very clearly put it, one of the issues that then arises is the question on leadership. And just curious to know whether leadership was one of the parameters that were considered in shortlisting. And this is quite important considering what we have seen over the past year in terms of the constitutional standards that have been set for public office. We're talking about clear vetting and other things. I think as a nation, we are now embracing the importance of not just leadership, but good leadership. And I think that may be a critical matter to be considered. The second thing is that I noted that in the initial slide, which talked about the key matters that are considered when shortlisting the top 100 companies, is that none of the companies should be listed. Now, I'm very sure that the representative from the NSC will have some views about that, but given that the Capital Markets Authority, together with the Nairobi Stock Exchanges, considering setting up an over-the-counter trading mechanism for SMEs specifically, and they have regulations that they are considering, might this change, say, coming year when preparing the list of the top 100? Thanks once again.
Thank you, Kamenchu, for that question. Would you like to give him an answer?
Thank you, Kimathi. In terms of leadership, it's a very soft, touchy issue. That's where you start introducing subjectivity. Our survey, it's all about the numbers. We're very objective, but obviously we are live on leadership and people that we nominate. So we do not go through looking at leadership because there's no tangible measure within which you can measure leaders. It's a very subjective process. Okay? And ours is a quantitative survey, not qualitative. In terms of the key matters on CMA and NSC, NSC is one of our partners in this process, and they're in the process of establishing actually mid-markets specifically for the SMEs to list and raise funds through so that has been taken into account, hence having NSC as one of our partners. Thank you.
Okay, do we have another question? Okay, there is a question here. Any other questions so that I have all of them so we can address? Okay, all right, so that will be the last question for now.
Thank you. Nishit Medirata from PG Bison. I just wanted to go back to Philip's earlier slide. He was talking some of the challenges that we face. And one of the, I think the higher level priority ones that we face is competition. And you know, amongst falling dollar, amongst high inflation, high interest rates, these are things we'll manage in our own businesses. But I think competition still remains a big issue that we will deal with. We're happy to deal with the level playing field. But when you're dealing with an environment that doesn't have regulation for monopolies, regulation for unfair competition through corruption, then it becomes difficult. And what I'd like to see, seeing that this is a forum that gets the message to policymakers, is within that competition framework, this is a major challenge that we face. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, Josephat, you want to respond to that? I don't see any other question yet, so.
Thank you very much. We agree actually that we are all in business, first of all, to compete. And that competition refines us, it helps us improve. But the rules have to be the same. And yes, this is a message that we are sending. Last year we actually had somewhat of a tiff, if I may call it that, with the government. And since then, the people who are involved in other challenges. But the point about, first of all, honoring due process, making sure that we have an appropriate regulatory environment, and above all, true zero tolerance to corruption. That's an issue we continue to talk about at every fora that we engage government in. What we did last year as well, and I hope the others who are going to sign up, we had an integrity pact, a commitment by members of Top 100 that they themselves will not be involved in corruption and that they will use whatever avenues are available to make known anybody who is making their business more difficult because of corruption. So in as far as possible where we can, we do engage and we speak up, sometimes at great expense, against corruption.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, let me just make one or two comments as well on that. I agree with everything that's been said, but let me first comment on the question of leadership. Like we said, this is a quantitative, measurable initiative. But when you have somebody, let's say like the one we will celebrate tomorrow as top 100, number 1 or number 2, and the person has been growing the business with all those measures that Philip has talked about. And KPMG, who are indisputably leading and very knowledgeable team of auditors and consultants, have managed the process of going through the books and found that indeed, and working with your auditors, found that indeed those numbers that we are seeing are true. Chances are you are a great leader. Anything else we say, ni maneno mingi. Chances are that you are a great leader. So if you are here, know you are a great leader, and what we are doing is, amongst you great leaders, we are using numbers to say, this is number 1, number 2, number 3. What is important is that all the numbers we have and all the measures we have are measures that have been assessed properly and can stand the test of scrutiny. The second question on the level play field goes to the heart of why we are here and why we have top 100. I want to encourage, and there's something Josephat said a little earlier. I want to encourage our top 100 to become real members of the top 100 initiatives by participating in our forums. Because in those forums, one of the things that we'll be happy to do is to take a group of people, maybe a smaller team, and say, we are having a problem with this ministry, or we're having a problem with this ministry. Nation and KPMG are happy to facilitate, when we have very specific issues, to go to a particular ministry, get the appointments, and we deliberate on those issues. This is the value we can also be adding between one top 100 ceremony and the other. And that is why we have those meetings in between. So I want to encourage you to be attending them. I want to encourage you to be, for us to be discussing those issues, and together, because the government is you and me. The government, you know, if you want Mheshimiwa Kimunya, he was here. Last time he was here, he spent the whole day with us. The government has changed. It is not a strange animal that cannot be assessed. We can help to bring them together, and we deliberate on those issues. That is the spirit of Top 100.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gitahi, for that.